Nothing will stand in our way. I will explain to them just how shitty of a movie this really was.
Okay, holy smokes. Awkward intros aside, I just cannot get through. This is like my fifth or sixth take. I'm trying to make a review of this film that doesn't go on for longer than like 15 minutes. I'm very passionate about Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I have ever since I was a little boy. My dad is a Star Wars fan. I was right there in 99, 02, 05. I have countless games. I'm somewhat familiar with the expanded universe. I love Star Wars. I really do. I'm here to talk about how disappointed I was with episode 7. I thought it sucked. I thought it was unoriginal. I thought it was campy and boring. And I keep ranting and ranting and ranting on in these videos trying to cover the whole plot and what I didn't like. So instead I'm going to try to keep this as quickly as I can while I hope I explain myself well enough. For me, my biggest problem with this film was it just drew far too many parallels. Just way too many parallels to Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, particularly 4 and a little bit of 5. Some quick examples of that are the 3 locations that are used in this film. We get a desert planet, we get a tree planet with a little bit of water, and we get a snow planet. And it's like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? We have an entire galaxy to work with here with a ton of predetermined planets, and I know they're not sticking with a lot of the extended stuff. You know, it's out of canon now or whatever. But I mean, like, come on. I mean, Return of the Jedi came out in 1983. It's 2015. We've had over 30 years to think up some new fucking planets, and the best we can do are just the same 3 locations. And on top of the same 3 locations, what is the conclusion to this film? It's blowing up another Death Star. And I know that, you know, it's not like really the Death Star. It's like a planet that's like wrapped in a star, and it shoots out a big laser that takes out multiple planets. And it's the Death Star. Like, it's so weak. It's so lame. I mean, if you take the last 4 films chronologically, if you take episode 4, 5, 6, and 7, 3 of the last 4 films have a band of rebels taking on the evil empire, blowing up a Death Star. The difference in this one is it's the Resistance taking on the First Order, and it's called the Star Killer. Like, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. That is so weak. That is such a weak fucking attempt at trying to make a Star Wars movie. That's just it's such a cash grab move. You know, just to prey on the nostalgia, and everybody's like, oh my god, it's Star Wars again, it's so good. No, it's not so good. It's bullshit. It's a bunch of cock-a-bullfuck. Seriously, how do you use the same 3 locations and blow up a Death Star when you have so much time to come up with a far better script? There's just no excuse. So, some other parallels that I had a problem with, you know, that were just so unoriginal. You know, in A New Hope, we have Luke, the farm boy, who's raised on a desert planet, and he gets whisked into the situation with the rebels and goes on to become a Jedi Knight. Awesome. So who do we get now? We get Rey. She's raised on a desert planet. She gets thrown right into the middle of it. Boom, she's going to become a Jedi. Alright, cool. Like, that wasn't fucking, like, so lame. It's so weak. Like, I'm fine with the odd callback and throwback, you know, and it's okay to draw inspiration, but, like, come on, it doesn't get any less original than that. So, you know, Rey's our main protagonist, which, by the way, I will say it is pretty cool that they used Finn as a decoy protagonist. You know, like a lot of the trailers and a lot of the marketing and everything kind of showed him kind of being the next guy. It looked like he was going to be our next main character, and it turns out to be Rey, you know, a female Jedi lead. I think that's awesome. Good stuff there. Alright, speaking of preying on nostalgia, let's throw in a masked villain in there, because why not? Kylo Ren is an okay villain. I didn't mind him, but was it super necessary to have him in the mask? I mean, I know he's a Vader fanboy and stuff, and I mean, like, aren't we all? Obviously, J.J. Abrams is, because we have another masked villain in there. Not only do we have a masked villain in there again, but he's answering to a mysterious hologram, just like how Vader responds to the Emperor in, episode 5. It's like, oh man, who's that? In this one, it's like, oh, here we go again. And on top of that, like, it's Snoke. Like, who the fuck is Snoke? Like, I know he's supposed to be this new character and stuff, but like, Snoke, like, that's such a lame name. I'm just throwing that one out there. There was another cantina scene. Okay. This one was far less memorable because there's no Han shot first. There's no meeting Han. There's no arm getting cut off. They just kind of throw this cantina scene in there for fun. Yeah, it's where Rey has her psychedelic force trip, and they find Anakin's lightsaber, which just sort of pops up in the basement of this thing. That's pretty convenient. He gets his arm cut off on Bespin. The thing ends up going down the garbage chute or whatever, and someone was like, this will come in handy one day. So they hold on to it and finds its way to the basement of the cantina. Awesome. Another parallel that a lot of people haven't noticed, I think, and I think this is directly inspired. And by the way, spoiler alert, I know I've already kind of thrown some spoilers out there. Sorry, spoiler alert, here comes another one. Han Solo was killed in this film, and I got nothing out of it. I thought it was a very empty and lame killing. I mean, Kylo Ren just sort of stabs him, and he just kind of like falls off the ledge, and that's it. And unfortunately, modern cinema, and especially Disney, is very guilty of killing off main characters just to have them come back. They'll bounce back. Either, like they'll just show back up, or they're going to come back in like a prequel or reimagining or something like that. So now whenever a main character dies, and I know it's Han Solo, I mean, he's one of the most iconic movie characters of all time, I got nothing out of his death. I thought it was so poorly done, and it was kind of a missed opportunity. It would have been great, because in episode 4, when Obi-Wan is cut down by, or so it seems he's cut down by Darth Vader, you get Luke, no, and then the plot continues. In this one, it would have been interesting, with the protagonist on looking, and they see Han Solo get cut down. I know he wasn't much of a mentor, but he's sort of that, elderly figure, and it would have been great, in my mind, to see Rey, run over to him, try to help him as he's dying. She'll pick him up or something, and then she'll have a Force connection. And I thought it would have been really cool if they had done like a flashback through, Han Solo's life. And, you could have thrown in some past scenes in there, like really quickly. And she could have had this Force connection with him. Just, she could have gone through the past, present, and a little bit into the future, and then have him die. And she was powerless to help him, and there could be like a bit of like guilt in there, and that could be like her motivation to become a powerful Jedi. If you want to draw parallels, maybe she'll want to become a Jedi to stop people from dying, like Anakin or something like that. Like, I don't know, they could have. There's more they could have done with Han Solo dying. It was pretty weak. It was probably the boldest part of the script, but it was poorly done, and I don't want to say it was in bad taste. But it didn't do Han Solo's character like any justice. I mean, really, do you really think Han Solo would just go down like that? Come on. I mean, he would go down fighting. He'd have a blaster in his hand. He would go down spitting on the guy's face. Something. But he just gets stabbed, and then that's it. Like, I didn't get anything out of that. Yeah, I was a little surprised, but quite honestly, like, I was so ready for the film to end at that point. I was like, oh, cool, maybe the movie's going to end now. Rey kind of mastered her Force powers at like record pace. Holy rat shit. She fucking got Jedi mind tricks down like no problem. She was whipping lightsabers up to her hand, no sweat. Fucking Luke, he trained on Dagobah with Yoda for like a solid movie and a bit, half movie, and even then, like, he was still getting his ass kicked at the end of Empire Strikes Back by Vader. He had so much to learn. He had a direct teacher. Rey had none of that. She just like had her psychedelic trip with the lightsaber and was like, dude, I got this shit, no problem. So damn, how powerful is she gonna get now that she's gonna buddy up with Luke? So that was kind of weird to me. The climactic fight between Rey and Kylo Ren was okay. It's kind of cool to see a lightsaber fight at night. But yeah, she just ends up working him, and I know he's not at full power, like he'd taken the blaster shot, and he has conflicting emotions, so I get that he wasn't at full capacity, but she really fucking took it to him, and that didn't fly with me. I was it just was like kind of convenient writing. They, you got to have like the climactic finish. But yeah, no, I really, again, another missed opportunity in my mind is it would have been a great reveal where, when Rey's trying to force grab the lightsaber, it would have been cool if she was in over her head, she hasn't mastered her powers yet, and then have Luke just, grab it and take on Kylo and get him to go back, and then, they meet up that way. That would have been very cool to me, but no, they just had to throw Luke in there for 30 seconds. Mark Hamill made it on the top billed cast. He's fucking laughing all the way to the bank. He can't believe it. I mean, that's got to be like a record or something. To be the third billed cast in a film and only have about 30.5 seconds of screen time. Damn. I think Mark Hamill must actually be a Jedi Knight. Like, J.J. Abrams was like, Mark, we're going to have you in this film. It's going to be for about under 40 seconds. Is that cool? Like, we're going to throw you in the cast, but you're going to be down below some other names. Hope you don't mind. He was like, you will make me a top billed cast in this movie. And J.J. Abrams was like, oh, yeah, we'll put you, you'll be third. Weak. Just one big cash grab. That's all this movie really was. Just a setup and cash grab. Money, 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 money. The studio was so spooked from the prequels. There was just zero mention of them. No love for episodes 1, 2, and 3. They're scavenging parts. They could have come up with a pod racer. There was no Liam Neeson Force Ghost, Qui-Gon Jinn. There was none of that. Just fuck the prequels didn't even happen, which sucks because I honestly and truly prefer the Clone War era. I love the Clone Wars. There's so much good material from there. A lot of stuff they could have used. I don't know. I'm getting ranting again. I gotta stop myself here. I gotta be careful because there's so much to cover with this film. But all my friends were so surprised at how disappointed I was with this film, and it's for good reason. I mean, everybody's talking about how Star Wars is back and it's amazing, but yet for a film that calls itself Star Wars, there sure as the hell weren't a lot of stars. I mean, very little of the film takes place in space, which is just disappointed me so much. I mean, outside of the TIE fighter getting shot down by the Star Destroyer or whatever, other than that, there's no space combat, and we get some hyper space action in there, some light speed, which is cool and all. But for the most part, they're like, all right, dude, we're gearing up for battle. There's going to be TIE fighters, X-Wings. Hell yeah. Oh, but we're going to skim across the water and it's going to look really cool. Yeah, no, fuck that. Why? Why couldn't any of this movie take place in space? I love space. To me, Star Wars is a space epic with lots of Force, lots of Jedi, and just not the same story told twice, and I know there was a little bit of lightsaber action and there was a little bit of the Force, not enough for my liking. This movie was campy, it was boring, it wasn't, well, I don't know, it was boring to me. I didn't like it. I'm looking forward to episode 8 somehow. I think it should be much better, assuming they don't stick to the same campy, boring script. I don't know, I forget the name of the guy that's directing the next one. JJ, I love you. But yeah, this movie just sucked ass from a straw.